2 families said he was too broken. The shelter said he was unadoptable. His medical chart scared everyone away. But what happened next proved that miracles don't always come when you expect them. And sometimes, the dog nobody wants is exactly what someone needs. Some call it coincidence. I call it divine timing. This is Dax's story. Abandoned twice. No explanation, just left. Dax sat in the corner of the cold shelter kennel, his once proud German Shepherd frame now a shadow of what it should have been. Ribs protruded through matted, dull fur that had lost its shine months ago. His hind legs trembled violently when he tried to stand, a painful reminder of the advanced hip dysplasia no one wanted to deal with. Every movement was agony, every breath a quiet plea for relief he knew wouldn't come. The first family surrendered him at 6 years old. He's slowing down, they said, as if that was reason enough. The second family took him home for exactly 3 weeks before bringing him back. The vet bills are too high, they explained to the shelter staff, avoiding eye contact with Dax as they handed over his leash. Both times, they'd cited his health issues as too much responsibility, too expensive, too complicated. They wanted a perfect dog, and Dax, with his limping gait, his clouded eyes that had seen too much rejection, and the way he flinched at sudden sounds, was anything but perfect in their eyes. What was going through his mind during those long, silent hours in that kennel? Did he wonder what he'd done wrong? Did he replay the moments when hands that once petted him gently had turned away for good? Perhaps he thought love was conditional, that his worth was measured by how fast he could run, how straight he could stand, how little he cost. The shelter staff saw it happening. Day by day, Dax withdrew further into himself. He stopped greeting visitors at the kennel door. He stopped wagging his tail when someone walked by. He just existed, a living ghost of the loyal companion he'd once been. Other dogs found homes within days, puppies with bright eyes and wagging tails, younger shepherds with clean bills of health, no complications, no expensive medications needed. But Dax, he just sat there, gray muzzle resting on his paws, watching them leave one by one. People passed his kennel with sympathetic glances, some even whispered, "Poor thing," but no one stopped, no one stayed, no one saw past the limp, past the medical chart hanging on his cage that listed every problem, every pill, every reason to walk away. 8 months he waited, 243 days of hoping each footstep might be the one that finally stopped for him. Until one day, everything changed. But then, Sarah appeared. She wasn't looking for a German Shepherd that day, but when she walked past Dax's kennel, their eyes met, his dull, tired gaze finding hers, and she felt it deep in her chest. Maybe this was meant to be. She knelt down slowly. Dax didn't move at first, but then his tail gave the smallest wag, just once. It was enough. "What's his story?" Sarah asked. "That's Dax," the volunteer said softly. 8 months here. 2 families gave him up because of his hip dysplasia, but he's special. He just needs someone who sees past all that. Sarah looked back at Dax, past the matted fur, past the trembling legs. She saw a soul that refused to quit. "I'll take him," she whispered. When Sarah brought Dax home, he stood frozen at the doorway. His nose twitched, taking in new scents. Slowly, he stepped inside. A soft bed waited in the corner, sunlight streaming across it. Dax stared at it, as if unsure whether he was allowed. Sarah knelt beside him. "It's yours, buddy. Everything here is yours now." For the first time in 8 months, Dax's tail wagged, really wagged. I see you haven't subscribed yet, and honestly, that breaks my heart. Dax's story is just beginning. Little did Sarah know what was about to happen next. Nobody expected this, but Dax had a secret. At first, he was quiet, cautious, but then slowly something shifted. The dog labeled too old and too broken started to show who he really was. It started with the talking. Not barking, talking, deep, grumbly woo-woo-woo sounds every morning beside Sarah's bed. Woo-woo-woo-woo-woo, as if to say, "Good morning, I'm still here. I love you. Can we have breakfast now?" Sarah couldn't help but laugh. Okay, I hear you, buddy." Despite his hip dysplasia, Dax showed his playful side. He'd gently toss his favorite toy in the air, catch it, then bring it to Sarah with the proudest look. He couldn't run like he used to, but joy wasn't about speed. It was about feeling safe enough to try. At night, Dax had a ritual. He'd patrol the house, slowly, carefully, checking every window, every door. This dog who'd been abandoned was now standing guard over the one person who'd seen his worth. But Dax wasn't alone for long. Sarah had a 7-year-old daughter, Emma. At first, Emma was nervous, but Dax approached her slowly, gently, and laid down at her feet, making himself small, non-threatening. Emma reached out and touched his head. His tail wagged. From that moment on, they were inseparable. Then came the moment that changed everything. One afternoon, Emma tripped and tumbled down 3 steps. She cried out, clutching her sprained arm. But before Sarah could move, Dax was there. He limped over as fast as his damaged hips would allow and positioned himself between Emma and the stairs. Then he gently nuzzled Emma's face, licking away her tears, making soft woo-woo sounds, comforting, protective. Emma stopped crying. She wrapped her arms around Dax's neck. "You are my hero." Sarah watched, tears streaming down her face. This wasn't a coincidence. Dax had been sent to them for a reason. Some would say it was instinct, but Sarah knew it was something more. It was like a miracle wrapped in fur. Dax wasn't just a pet, he was family. He had healed Emma's fears, and in doing so, healed Sarah's heart too. Today, 3 years later, Dax still patrols the house every night. His hips are worse, the medication helps, but age is undefeated. Yet every morning, he's beside Emma's bed with his signature woo, 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 greeting the day like it's a gift. His story reminds us that worth isn't measured in vet bills or perfect health. Second chances are for the faithful, the patient, the ones who refuse to stop loving. Some would call it coincidence that Sarah walked past his kennel that day, but I believe Dax was sent to them for a reason. God works in mysterious ways. 2 families abandoned him, but he never abandoned love. And that's Dax's story, a story of resilience, divine timing, and unconditional love.